Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Powerbomb Project. My name is Berman, and my co-hosts are,
Chris.
And Daniel.
and we are doing a retro review of one of my favorite NXT pay-per-views from a combination pay-per-view, I would say, WWE Worlds Collide 2020. This was a very fun match. It was a good rivalry. There's so many great matches, dream matches that you would love to see. So I really loved this pay-per-view, and this is kind of the heyday of the golden NXT. I would say. What do you think, you guys? What do you think about this pay-per-view, guys?
It's probably one of my favorite NXT pay-per-views of all time from what I've seen for this channel. I don't see a single flaw match at all. I enjoyed my time with every single one, and I'll keep it at that until we get to the review.
So, yeah, I can say I think this was a great show. I think what Berman said is fair about this being like the end of the NXT Golden Age, because after this would be Portland, which would be also like this one of their best pay-per-views ever. But after Portland, the pandemic happened, and without the crowd reactions that we all knew and loved, they moved away from the Full Sail Center, and it just really changed NXT for the worse. But we still have a great NXT today. It's just not Golden Age NXT like this was.
Yeah, it's a good point. So let's move on. Let's go to the first match, which is a great kind of grudge match. The whole thing kind of popped up what I think was Ijla challenged Finn Balor, said, and the main thing is that Finn Balor says, well, if you take a shot at me, you better not miss. Kind of same thing as Carmelo these days. It was kind of weird. I feel like Carmelo took that from him. But it was Finn Balor versus Ijla, which was I loved this match. It was very fun. It was a good, it was actually leading up to this whole thing. I was really excited too because I was loving these two, and specifically because these two were the best versions of each other on NXT and NXT UK. This is probably the best version. Finn Balor as the Prince, which is this mean character then before Judgment Day, and Ilya Dragunov, which was kind of I would call them the Bloodshot, what's it called, Bloodshot Maniac. Because he always had bloodshot eyes, and he always does that, and it was always my favorite thing to listen to. And the music, my favorite thing too, from him. But for this match, very great. It had so many fun moments, and just fun things that happened between those two that really kind of fit each other. But I think the thing that always pissed me off sometimes, and it's just not a bad thing, it's just something annoying that WWE did, was that the ending of the match where Finn Balor did the coup de grace, then set it up for his finisher, the 1961. It pissed me off that he never does that anymore in the Raw or SmackDown ever. That is one of his best finishers in the day. Is the best finisher, and he doesn't use it anymore because I feel like maybe it could be too dangerous for some people. But I think it's just so good to use, and I think it sucks that they don't use it anymore. But still, say this is one of my favorite matches. Not of this pay-per-view, but a great match between these two. So I give this a 7.5 for me.
And again, this is how you do an opening to perfection. Listen, Finn Balor made out some stinkers nowadays, but goddamn it, when he was young, when he was the Prince, when he wasn't a part of the stupid Judgment Day, him and Ijla Dragunov, it's just such a good damn classic at the end of the day. Because look, these two will go at it. At the time they were younger. They had like a lot to prove, and they may have not been the main events, but I know eventually they would lead into a rivalry, right? Eventually for NXT.
No,
this is the only match they had.
What do you mean?
It was weird. Yeah, it made no sense to me. But they never made a rivalry with those two. They kind of split as soon as Dragunov lost.
I will give an explanation for it.
All right.
So, you noticed how the crowd was actually booing Dragunov during this match, which is actually rare.
Yeah.
But and they were cheering for Finn over him. Well, here's the thing: Ijla was in the company at the time for literally less than a year, and Finn was like his somewhat first major program. And at the time, Finn Balor was feuding with Johnny Gargano. So, as fucked up as it may sound, Ijla was kind of filler for Finn till he got to Portland with Johnny Gargano.
Well, those fans don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Just because someone has seniority over another wrestler doesn't make them automatically better. That's dumb. But point being, I enjoyed this match. You can't go wrong with it. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. And shame on WWE for not continuing this fucking rivalry because it's just.
And honestly, I gotta disagree with you, because think about it like this: if you're an audience and you see Finn Balor every single week, and you're invested in him, you know his story by now, and you don't know anything about Ilya Dragunov at the time, how are you going to blame people for cheering the guy that they know, that they're actually invested in? That makes no logical sense to me, Chris.
Hey man,
I'm sorry.
Hey man,
But,
I'm just gonna say it. Dragunov better than Finn Balor.
well, I don't know if I can go there, but I like Ilya a lot. So, this is what I will say. Yeah, this was like a rookie Ilya Dragunov versus Finn Balor. And boy, you're talking about the younger, you're acting like this was 10 years ago or so. This was 3 years ago. Finn was 37. Ilya was 26. They're not young. No, I'm just playing.
Well, thank you, Daniel.
Anyway, back to the match. What? Wait, what?
Never mind. Never mind.
All right. So, no, it's a pretty good match. And yeah, I got quite some enjoyment out of it. And even here, you could see the potential of what Ilya would be pretty soon here. And yeah, Ilya would definitely evolve from this point and become even better than when he was here. So, but yeah, pretty good match. Overall, 7.5 out of 10. And by the way, this match happened today while Finn's in the Judgment Day and Ilya, is doing what he's doing. I have a feeling Ilya would probably be the one cheered more today. So, at the time, and hasn't really evolved to where he's gotten today. It is what it is.
And I gotta say too, there is a good possibility this really could happen because of how the Judgment Day is in NXT, really because of Dom, and Ilya's going for the title, and maybe Finn Balor wants to go for the NXT title. It can actually happen that probably Finn versus Ilya Dragunov, maybe versus Carmelo, like a triple threat match, actually probably possible could happen in this day of NXT, I would say. So it's kind of an interesting thing to think about. So
it's not bad.
It sounds interesting to hear.
I mean, you already got Dirty Dom and Rhea down there. You might as well throw Finn in there.
Yeah, after he lost against Seth Rollins, so it has a possibility of really happening like that. So
yeah.
So let's move on to the second match, which is probably one of my favorites. It's Angel Garza, who is the champion right now, the Cruiserweight Championship match. And this was a big thing, a big tournament that happened between for the Cruiserweights. And I love the Cruiserweight. This was my kind of favorite era where they had Cruiserweights. So Angel Garza, who is the champion, versus Isaiah Swerve Scott, versus Jordan Devlin, the JD McDonagh right now, and Travis Banks, who is probably one of the standout people from NXT UK. You don't see him at all because I think now he's in the Indies, but he's really great too. But it's pretty much two NXT people versus two NXT UK. That's the main thing about the Worlds Collide because they fight against each other always. But this was a great match. It had a lot of great high flying. I think the main people who were like the big standouts was Travis Banks. He was going hard into pain. He did so many great things. He even did his finisher, which is the Kiwi Crusher, which is like a driver. Really great setup for everything. So did a great job. I think it's too hard to say anything else about it. The Swerve is doing a great job. You kind of see Swerve kind of doing his Swerve stomp, like what he does with Keith Lee sometimes. So it's kind of funny to see that. But like Angel Garza doing some really funny things. Angel Garza in this day was his heyday too. He was doing a great job in NXT. Kind of went down after this for me. But this was a very fun match. I loved it. In the end, Jordan Devlin got the win by the Devil Inside suplex, which is probably my favorites to see from him doing that. And it was great to see, and I think it's just great to deserve saying that Jordan Devlin actually did this. There's so many great moments in this match. Great things from Jordan Devlin, great things from Swerve, Travis, and Angel. This was a perfect Cruiserweight match to see from there. So definitely, I gotta give this an 8.5 for me.
And yeah, definitely out of my favorite athletes, it was kind of cool seeing Swerve and JD go at it because I didn't even know they could interact at this point, and it was kind of wild seeing because you see a lot of like AEW guys, which I kind of as I watched the product for the first time, I kind of not grew up with it, but it got me back into wrestling, and this is definitely like a great example of like all these young talents. Definitely love JD's like like his style nowadays, and he still sticks with it too, which is kind of cool. So he didn't really like lose what made him so great in the past. He's bringing it nowadays. So we'll see if WWE pushes him, but that's a whole different story. But for the match itself, it's a four-way. You have like all these athletic guys. You have crazy spots for, like you said, when Swerve's like early visions of the Stomp, and then Angel Garza also doing his thing too. It's just overall excellent, dude. I can't complain. I'm just gonna give it an 8.5 too. Really, really fun.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, the part I really like about this match is that there's not really an exact MVP. All four of them really got the shine here. You can't really say this was like a carry by anyone specifically. All four of them did their thing. And yeah, it was great. It's kind of a shame what they're doing with Angel Garza nowadays, and by they I mean WWE in general. Like, they got him in a throwaway tag team with Humberto, or they're doing some breakup storyline, I guess, which whatever, but like, it's just, Angel Garza is genuinely very good, and it's kind of a shame that he's not really doing shit nowadays. Now, Swerve, I feel like he wouldn't really be in the greatest faith right now with Hit Row. I mean, Hit Row are jobbers right now on SmackDown. And, you know, I couldn't imagine Swerve being in that bad position right now. I'm glad he has his own stable right now with AR Fox and the Gates of Agony. And honestly, call me crazy, I think the stable is starting to turn around into something way better than what it was before, which felt like a very bad throwaway stable. But now it's really grown into something better. So, yeah, I couldn't imagine him still being with WWE. Doing Hit Row. I couldn't. But you go to JD McDonagh, and yeah, he's stuck around, and surprisingly, he's involved with the Judgment Day. He might actually have some stuff to offer, so hopefully his career in WWE goes well. He might end up being the most successful out of the four in this match, career-wise, long-term, but we'll see about that. And then Travis Banks. I haven't really heard much about him recently, but yeah, Travis Banks is another one of those wrestlers where he's just really damn good. And yeah, I would like to... I'm going to have to see what Travis Banks has been up to, obviously. I'm going to have to do some research on that. But yeah, overall, just a great four-way. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Just, there's not really many dull moments at all. I don't think there really is a dull moment at all in this match.
Yeah, great to say. So let's move on to the next match, which is probably the best match of the night, I would say. And the complete dream match between NXT and NXT UK, DIY reunion, versus Moustache Mountain, which is Trent Seven and Tyler Bates from NXT UK. This is a complete dream match. Everyone wanted to see this between these two because these are the two best tag teams in NXT and NXT UK. And it delivered. It had so many great moments, so many funny things happened. And it's because the thing is funny to me, I always think about it, is that in this timeline, DIY was pretty much broken completely, where Tommaso Ciampa was being a big, brutal dick, he was going for his title, if not correct, and Johnny Gargano was feud with Finn Balor. So it was pretty funny to me that how they Weird and Moustache Mountain perfectly, they're like always the same page. It was kind of funny, but it was really, I think this was one of the best tag team matches to see. A great dream to see this one happen. It had so many funny things, like the super kicks, the the burning hammer combinations that they were trying to do. You could always think, oh, Moustache Mountain is going to win. No. And sometimes the DIY is going to win. No. It's like it was going back and forth. It was a great showing between these two, showing that both were their best tag teams on each of the promotions. And it showed, and I think it was an amazing match. But in the end, DIY finished off with a double, the meet in the middle super kick and knee strike to both members of the Moustache Mountain, because I think, if I'm correct, Trent Seven was coming to protect Tyler Bates, and in the end got sandwiched in between those two. So it was very interesting. I think it was very interesting to see those two, and you don't see it very often. But I think it was. I still say the heyday of these two, really great to watch. Definitely a 9 for me.
And yep, dude, like, it's funny too, because every time we do one of these NXT UK pay-per-views, the Moustache Mountain always comes up. And it's like always one of my personal favorite matches, and god damn it, it's perfection. Call me crazy. I think I gave this a 9.5 originally, but I'm just gonna give it a 10 for what it is. I don't see any flaws. This is like literally, like we said before, Berman, a dream come true. If DIY Mustache Man, it's gonna be a banger. So that's my key take on it. So I'll just give it a 10 out of 10. Excellent. Go out. You know what? Just go out and watch this match. If you don't watch anything else from this pay-per-view, at least watch this one, because this one is damn important, and it's like once in a lifetime for now. Well, I don't know. We can see.
I thought it was an amazing match, and all four of them really went out there and put on a show. Gargano versus Bate, that singles match needs to happen someday, man. It does. It definitely does. I feel like those two would create some magic together. But, yeah, overall, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. You can't really go wrong with this match.
Yeah, that's pretty upset. So let's go into the next match, which is NXT Women's Champion Rhea Ripley, who is the NXT Women's Champion, versus Toni Storm. Now, again, I think people at this point, I feel like people were getting sick of this rivalry because this is the third match. If I'm not correct, this is the third match they have been in during a for a championship or non-championship. There was first three matches, and like first match great, second match pretty good. This one, it's still a good match, and I think I had so many fun things too, and showing that how the evolution of Rhea Ripley happened from NXT when she was in NXT UK to now, when she was in, and then when she was in NXT regular, she was showing a lot, and she defeated Shayna Baszler for that title. So it shows a lot of things about her, but I still say it was not that bad of a match too. It's fun too to see how Toni Storm reacts. There was a bunch. You think, oh, Toni Storm is going to win this, but no. But in the end, Rhea Ripley caught her with the Riptide. So it was really great. I think it was probably a great women's match for that time of NXT, I'd say. So I give this a 7 for myself.
And yep, I'm in the same boat with Berman too, because quite frankly, I wasn't feeling the last match they had together. I believe it was the second one we reviewed, or was it the first one, guys? From what I remember,
it was the second one we reviewed, but it was from NXT Takeover Blackpool 1. Go watch that retro review right now if you haven't. But anyways, back to this one. Yeah, that was like the end of the rivalry back then. But then 1 year later, Rhea was the champ. Toni was like, remember when I beat you for that UK title? And, basically this was like a match that revived the rivalry. But it was only for one match.
Still, but thank you though. I feel like they've really evolved, because if that took only a year, I wasn't bored at all. This match, both of these competitors were actually excellent. I mean, they're both hard hitters. Rhea Ripley, of course, is going to be the stronger one, obviously, because she's more known for her like power bombs. But not to discredit Toni Storm, because even though she may not be as strong as Rhea, she does have like that quickness about her, and it's just cool seeing like it's just down to earth, like just good wrestling. Like I just give it an 8. It was excellent, and I think it's kind of cool that at the time, I guess Rhea was more over than Toni, right? During this time, that's why they're pushing her so hard. So. It was a good character growth. It was a good match to end it all, so I'll give it an 8. I liked it quite a bit.
And for context, Rhea Ripley beat Shayna Baszler the month before for the NXT Women's Championship. And get this, Shayna Baszler was the longest reigning NXT Women's Champ in history, and she was the champ for like over 500 or 600 days, something crazy like that.
Jesus.
So she was a huge heel. And when Rhea beat her for that title, Rhea got really over after she beat her for that title. So this was also, if I remember, her first title defense as well as the title. So yeah, people were like really rooting for Rhea. Of course, people don't want to see her lose on her first title defense,
Yeah.
So yeah, Rhea was over here. And plus, Toni was kind of on the verge of becoming a heel anyways, because she did actually turn heel later that year. So it just kind of made sense. The people were rooting for Rhea more. And yeah, the match we reviewed on Blackpool, it was just decent, but I feel like this was a better match. This was good, and it showed how both Rhea and Toni improved over the year. So yeah, I'll give this a 7 out of 10. Good match.
Yeah. Same thing here. So let's move on to the next match, which is the main event. And this was, again, a dream staple faction match, I would say. The two top factions in NXT and NXT UK. Undisputed Era, which is Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Bobby Fish, and Riley and O'Reilly versus Imperium, which was the Gunther or Walter, as you know there. Walter, guy's name. I always forget these guys' names now. The Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner, and the people we don't see him anymore, but Alexander Wolf, the Hatchet Man, for when that was called. This was a big thing happening. It was a really big build up to it too, and it was pretty much the dream faction between these two. Who were going to be who would defeat each other? And I gotta say, this was a great match too. It had so many great moments. The powerbomb through the table, trying to defeat Walter so he can get out of the way. That was a great thing, showing that there's so many great power. Oh no, it's actually not a powerbomb. It was actually an angle slam by Roderick Strong. And I think that's right. It was a great match too. It had so many great moments trying to team up, like a bunch of the Undisputed Era trying to team up on what's this guy's name? Walter. And there was a great moment too that I really liked was when was O'Reilly jumping from the top rope and just smashing. I think it was Marcel Bartel knee, smashing his leg and going right into submission. So it was very fast, and I think it had so many fun things. So I had I had so much fun watching this. And it was too many things you could do in this match, and they did everything correct. There was nothing I felt like that was messed up. Roderick Strong did great. Every single member of the faction did amazing. And I say that's very great. I think they did a great job with that whole thing. So I think to me this was a great main event, great way to end it. I gotta give this a 9.5 out of 10 for me, actually.
Again, I did enjoy this match, but I don't know if I forget which member it was, but did they actually get like a serious injury at one point? Because that wasn't clearly shown in this match. Because I remember
Alexander Wolf.
Was that him for Imperium?
I think.
I'm not 100%, but I think so, yeah.
I don't know if it was intentional or not, but like I understand like you have to like buy time for matches so they can recover, but I just kind of felt like Gunther was just kind of like overdoing it with his like slap shots. But I get it, it's to buy time for his friend to like recover and whatnot. But outside of that, that's like the only major complaint I have with the match, because it just made it seem like he was a little bit too overpowered compared to Adam Cole and the other guys. Because Undisputed Era is a whole different level, if I'm being quite honest. But it was a good match. I'll give it a 9.
So, alright. I am pulling up the facts right here just to make sure, because I remember. I think it was, I remember it was Alexander Wolf, I think, who got out the match. And, okay, I believe it was. Anyways, but back to this. Yeah, this match was crazy. And honestly, out of the Undisputed Era, even though Adam Cole was the leader, and usually it would be kind of him or Kyle's the MVP of the match, I felt like the MVP of the match from Undisputed Era actually goes to Roderick Strong here. Some of the stuff he did, and the table spot with Gunther, he was phenomenal in this match. And yeah, Imperium's it kind of all became a 4v3 where the odds were stacked against Imperium. But it didn't even matter because Walter literally just handled all of them 4-on-1 and was able to do it 4-on-1 to prove just how much of a beast and a monster he is. And usually I would complain about this and hate how overbooked that seems. But to tell you the truth, I'm not going to. Because Gunther, as a monster heel, and especially when you compare the size of all the guys in UE and the size of Gunther, whether you like to admit it or not, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. So, yeah. Gunther looking like a beast, getting the W with Imperium. It just made all the sense. And of course, you have the other two members of Imperium, showcase how good of a team they can really be. And yeah, this was probably the most dominant Imperium has ever looked in this company. Whether it's in NXT UK, NXT, or the main roster. This match is the most dominant they'll ever look. Well, not that they'll ever look, but this is the most dominant they have looked so far in their careers. So overall, I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Thought it was an awesome match.
Yeah, so, and for the overall pay-per-view, whole thing, I'm going to give this an 8.5. This was a very fun pay-per-view. Nothing was bad. It was just great. It had some fun things happen. So I got to give this an 8.5 for me.
And yeah, I really enjoyed it overall. So I'm in the same boat with you, Berman. 8.5 too.
And I'm going to give it an 8. I thought it was a great show.
Alright, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. And we'll come back for another retro review for WrestleMania 31. One of my choices and one of my favorite WrestleManias. So I've been Berman.
I've been Chris.
And I've been Daniel.
And I see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.